What's good, viewers? Today's video is spotlighting on the recent Bandai foray into flying form figures that started with Jet Jaguar in the recent Hedorah flying stage. One wonders if other flying figures will be produced in the near future, but today's review will be an addendum to Mechagodzilla March. Just delivered Godzilla Store Limited Movie Monster Series Mechagodzilla Flying Form version. A figure that I had interest in, but wasn't sure if I was actually going to get it. But now it's here, and it's ready to fly high, just as long as you're coming with me. So why don't you guys sit back, relax, and join me in this review for the store-exclusive Flying 1974 Bandai Mechagodzilla. Let's take off. In the climactic battle of the 1974 movie Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the title villain puts on a display its full capabilities, which includes a vast array of offensive weapons that repel both King Caesar and Godzilla's team-up. One of these strategic assaults gives Mecha G the higher ground, as it takes to the air to pummel Godzilla with its spectrum rays until he's shooting geysers of blood from his jugular. The scene is both dynamic and, let's just say, budget conscious, as the obvious flying prop dangles on wires when Godzilla turns the tables and suddenly becomes magnetic. It is perhaps that juxtaposition on why I value the new offering from Bandai, as it not only gives us a new take on Mechagodzilla, a figure we may have plenty of soon, but recalls my brothers and I chuckling at the marionette-style wirework as it wobbles down to Godzilla's waiting grasp. And now that it's in my grasp, let's take a look at it. Talk about ripped from the screen. Bandai's Flying Mechagodzilla is, in itself, a successful achievement of film-to-figure accuracy. And while the film's prop is a simplistic version of the suit itself, it was only meant to be on screen long enough to leave an impression. Let's do a quick turnaround where you can see the model from all angles, if this tag will allow it. Not intended to make fun or offend those of you who like to keep your vinyls pristine, I simply prefer to display these items without any obstruction. Hold on, let me get this out of the way first. But I also understand that there may be those of you that curse my lack of regard on any future value of these collectibles. And just so we're clear, I don't throw away my tags ever. I merely keep them in this little box that I have, pretty much all of them, stored away nice and neat and never thrown out, in case I ever want to reattach them one day for some reason. But I digress. Let's just add this one to the collection. Anyway, this is one of those times, kind of like the flying from Hedorah, where having a tangible replica feels special, even if you may be getting less of a figure for the same amount paid, if not more, being that they were both store exclusives. But alas, I am a sucker and I love this more than I have any right to. It's a very simplified expression of the film's villain, done exactly as the film prop chose to show, with its truncated proportions, cheats in the mechanical logistics, and the inexplicable change in design in certain elements. I'll get into that further, but focusing on the overall color palette, you get the same choices you would see on most 74 Mecha G designs, with the shiny silver base for the overall mold, with darker muted grays for the joints and flourishes, specifically where a majority of the rivets are raised. It breaks up the overall look quite nicely, still emphasizing the makeup of this mechanical menace. Very clean, very beautiful, well done, Bandai. Red is used sparingly, specifically on the arm designation MG, and the circular command receivers where the ears would be. Where a dot or two of orange would be used in some areas of the torso, here we only get it in the eye reflectors, still just as warm as most of the figures utilize. So yeah, basically what you see is what you get. A nice metal sheen, highlighting all the rivets with the darker grays, an overall impressive look for a simplified prop. Now, let's take a look at the sculpt. The Mechagodzilla flying prop was a simplified model, eschewing fine details, lending itself to a more smooth yet rigid machine over the articulated costume worn by the suit actor. But the mechanical details are present, such as the segmented tail and the multitude of rivets lining the overall body from its legs on up. The MG logo is nicely embossed on the upper arms. The tiny chest light that would normally face forward when standing now faces forward in flight mode. while the robot's neck is condensed, no longer giving the impression that it is a Godzilla copy. The head fares really well here. Its robotic dorsal plate's a little truncated, and the knee missiles are more rounded here. I know I am jumping around a bit, but I am merely riffing off of the biggest takes observing this fine figure, such as the robust barrel chest this guy sports when compared to its usual standing posture. Everything here feels minimum. A strange choice, this figure sports a bicep rotation on both arms. I suppose it's there to bring value and change the way you want this finger launchers to display in flight. However, because of the close proximity of the painted MG logo, you should be wary of potential paint rub as it can skew too close to the body when turning it. Godzilla 74 looks perfect next to this piece, showcasing the sizes and enabling one to recreate the showdown between the two where Mechagodzilla's air superiority is on display. But of course, we all know how we'd play this out. Just a side note, I don't play with my toys. Playmates Mechagodzilla really distinguishes the differences between suit and prop here. Despite the slimmer proportions of the Playmates version, the colors are uniform, and it only makes me more excited for the Dream 5 Mechagodzilla 1974 than I previously was. Again, to showcase the proportional change between the two, just how stretched out the flying mode details look in comparison. Holding them close reveals the details both companies took to show the worn look of the costume versus the sleek and simplified aesthetic of the model prop. Tail rudder is the biggest offender here, with the flying versions looking like a shark's fin and the suit version more scythe-like. And the feet, what are those? Have a smoothed over shin guard. They definitely don't look like the same character based on these observations. And because this is the same, and I mean the same, model was used briefly in 1975's Terror of Mechagodzilla, Bandai's 2005 Soul of Mechagodzilla will be compared here as well in flying mode, respectfully. We chose this figure to help illustrate the realistic manner in which the suit would appear in flight mode. Aside from the obvious size differences, this is how I would imagine the flying mode would look realistically, given the proportions of how the robot appears on the ground. Way more segmented and clunky as compared to the streamlined, statuesque flying mode. With this version of the titular space titanium terror beast, one could amass quite the Mechagodzilla mob. But is he good enough for another flying robot? Three punches, and I agree. This is a split down the middle score, with the pros leaning in favor of true Showa era enthusiasts who love this character and appreciate specific film moments and prop details, whereas casual kaiju fans may thumb their nose at the simplified take and the do-nothingness of the overall piece. For me, I lean into that niche area personally. Key moments like this strike the nostalgic nerve, and I consume it. Where I was underwhelmed a little with Flying Stage Hidora, I tipped the other way for this guy. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed my opinions for the Bandai Godzilla Store exclusive Mechagodzilla 74 flying mode. Whew, that's a lot. And I hope you will come back for more Godzilla content here on my channel. Remember, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment your thoughts below. And as always, thank you for watching.